Hi people. Okay, I'm gonna be shooting like this for now. Please forgive me because I'm unable to put together the people who are editing my podcast and what's not. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna be shooting like this just to get things going because so much has been happening. I couldn't miss this. I couldn't miss this one. We all know these are the news. Everyone is talking about it. I'm kind of proud of this guy.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us at a quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture.
Of course. Now, the thing is, Trump knows there's no genocide in South Africa. I mean, it's not, I don't want to come here and say, but it's not like he knows. This is America, bro. This is America. They have the best intelligence you can think of in the world. This is the US. They know there's no genocide in SA. That's not the point. This really not the point, bro. They know exactly there's no genocide here. White people in SA, Afrikaners, know there's no genocide in SA. My Afrikaans friends, we are laughing about this because they are using it and applying, trying to get a double citizenship, dual citizenship with America and South Africa. They're using the loophole. Everybody knows there's no genocide in SA. That's not a problem. So what is this about then? Like I can tell you, I don't want to argue that there's no. Trump knows there's no genocide. It's not even a question. You can't. They're using pictures of what you call, Angola in, the fuck Congo. I mean, pictures in Congo and saying it's SA and, by the way, the other picture with the crosses is by my hometown in Newcastle, in South Africa. It's really just when you go outside of Newcastle, that small thing there that they had with the crosses, and there are no bodies in the crosses there. Right? It's just pictures that are symbolizing previous deaths of people who've lived in the farms and stuff. The crosses were representing that, not that there are dead bodies there or anything like that. Now, when you go to farm matters, statistics in SA, they are there. White farmers, Afrikaners, don't make even 1% of farm matters in SA. Not even 1%. They don't even make one. People actually who die the most in farm murders in SA, which is unfortunate, is like farm dwellers. So for an example, someone has a relative who works in the farm, your dad, your mom, whoever, and they go there to visit family. Those people, farm dwellers, are the people who die a lot in the farms. And also farm workers who happen to be black, actually. Black people die more than white people when it comes to farm murders. Yes, they're a problem. But it's not genocide. Genocide is something else, bro. Nobody is targeting to say they want to kill white people in SA. No, it's not that. And actually, I hate the fact that I'm even talking about that because it's not like they don't know. They know. Trump knows. That's not the point. The point is to squeeze SA because of recent affairs. South Africa, in the ICJ, goes against the United States quite frequently, right? Because South Africa is not going to stand for imperialism, dog. For the most part, as long as you have black majority in SA and black people as government, imperialism, dog, in SA is not going to work, dog. South Africa is always going to stand against anything that resembles apartheid. They're always going to do that. And the US is literally not happy about that. That's the first thing. The Israel case in the ICJ. Secondly, Starlink. It's about Starlink. Elon Musk failed to get certificates to operate Starlink in South Africa because it doesn't comply with the BE laws and legislation that we had in SA. That's what it's about. It's about that. Simple as that. It's about that. They're trying to find ways. One, let's try and derail SA. Let's try and see what we can poke in South Africa, so that we can discredit them for the case in the ICJ. Let's try to discredit them to say, yo, you have genocide in your own country. Who are you to open a case in the ICJ? We can also open a case against you. They're trying to get them there. Really, that's what they're doing. Yo, you don't want to put in my boy for Starlink in SA. That's the game, dog. That's the game. Not that they think that's the game. All these antics they are playing, flying 49 Afrikaners there, people who are not even farmers, saying, hey, they are running from a genocide, and guys saying, yo, I'm living at home, 5-bedroom house with a dog and my mom. The fuck? And you're saying you're running from genocide and you left your mom behind. You see, everybody knows. I think that's not the point here. It's this thing. Starlink. Yeah, those are the central things, dog, in this case. That's what is happening. Those are the central things. Now, the only thing that's broke my heart, actually, with this whole thing is having South Africa to fold like that. South Africa comes back from the meeting with Donald Trump. Then the next day, 3 days after, the Minister of Communications, telecommunications and whatnot, changes legislature to accommodate Starlink. They go and change laws in our country. I mean, I like it when Sol Penduga called this state capture. Then what is state capture then? If that's not state capture, what is state capture? If this is not state capture, what is then is state capture? I mean, Elon Musk was offered by the Ruperts, South African billionaire, in the Oval Office, offered this space to come and operate Starlink in South Africa, telling him that we need Starlink in our hospitals, we need Starlink in our police stations. My man, bro, live. Then the next thing, what happens? They're changing legislature to accommodate Starlink. Now, that's his state capture, if you didn't know state capture. You cannot compromise the sovereignty of your country for any business. Any. Brother, that's why I love the Chinese sometimes. Look at Jack Ma in China. Jack Ma started talking against the government in China. Recalled him right then, bro. The guy disappeared a couple of years, dog. That's what they do. Chinese don't play like that. Business can never run the politics of the country. Business and the politics of the country, we need to keep them separate. Business can never run the people. The people shall govern themselves through their politics. In South Africa, you have these two. Now, you have billionaires calling the shots as changing legislation. You don't have a country, my man. You do not have a country. You are fucked. That's what I can tell you. You're fucked, dog. There's no other way to characterize this, dog. There's no other way. SA is doomed, bro. There's no other way to characterize it, bro. None. You cannot do this, dog. Compromise the sovereignty of the country for business. Never. I understand, though. Now, I would say having Starlink, to be honest, in South Africa will be beneficial. Because South Africa has one of the most expensive data in the world. The network providers, MTN, Vodacom, Telkom, monopolizing the space. So bad. Actually, I was talking to my friend not long ago about how in China, for example, and other countries, airtime or data for calls basically doesn't expire. In South Africa, it does. You can buy like data to make phone calls and it will expire. It's problematic. That's South Africa, you know. So we have problems when it comes to service providers in the telecommunications space, and having Starlink is helpful. But you cannot give a foreign entity critical spaces in your country. They're funds, bro. How are they promising to give the Starlink thing our police stations and hospitals? You want to have Starlink operating hospitals and police stations? You compromise the security of the country, because I know where this is going. The military is going to be operating with Starlink, because that's how dumb they are in SA. When it comes to that, you can't compromise your country like that. Give foreign entity, the US, access to our critical things like that. You cannot. For private use, I understand. People can have Starlink, and I think a Starlink should be able to be allowed to operate in SA, but it's the how that I have a problem with. Not like this, dog. Not like you're in a gangster style like this. You compromise the country, bro. You have no country. The question was, do you have the country? And you said no. That's the thing. Do you have the country? And you said no. That's what happened there. They asked, does South Africa have a country? Knock, knock. And we are saying no. If we're going to compromise our country like that, you are saying no. I think that's the problem I have. Otherwise, I still think there should have been other means and negotiations that we could have reached rather than using these means to get Starlink to operate in South Africa. There should have been other means, bro, to get a Starlink in SA and conditions. I had the conditions that Starlink has right now to come and operate in South Africa. That instead of having black ownership within Starlink itself, Starlink is gonna, for the same amount of 30% in ownership of Starlink in SA, Starlink has to provide like service delivery or empowerment, especially for the previously disprivileged, like black people in SA, for the same amount that is equivalent to ownership of 30%. That's what's gonna be the condition for the BEE. You know? Okay, fine. I'm good with those type of conditions. That's okay. I think that's good. But it's the how did we get there that's I have a problem with. A big problem with that. How did we get there? By compromising the sovereignty of the country, squeezing the country into submission. Then you have a problem with that. A big issue with that. Otherwise, I think it's a good thing to an extent. Of course, not also for critical positions in the country. Not for critical positions in the country, like they are suggesting currently. That's the big issues that I have. You know, otherwise, it's business, my man. The only biggest thing too that I want to say is, for especially because I've noticed in SA sometimes how people become activism and, you know, and you get trapped in being an activist, and cool, it's nice to be an activist, but you also need to use this. You will never win, bro, against billionaires like that. In that room, those are rooms full of billionaires. Whatever they want will happen. That's the thing with billionaires. Whatever is it that they want will happen. When they go that direction, and instead of always we are fighting them, of course, hey, Starlink, what? Now step back, because the first thing after I saw what was happening, I'm asking myself, Vanj, is Starlink traded in the markets, stock markets? And then I remember the Starlink it cannot be a publicly traded company because it's operating under SpaceX. And then also the problem with having with Starlink operating under SpaceX is that also SpaceX is also not a publicly traded company. It's a private company. So that's a miss. But for me, I'm thinking, how do I invest there? How can I get like 200K Nyana and put in Starlink? Because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find ways. How do I buy shares in Starlink or SpaceX? That's where I am. I don't care about, hey, what? Because I see what is happening. Billionaires are always going to win. I'm with where they're going. How are they winning? That's where I'm going. I'm putting my money there. Because I know, no matter what you do, Elon Musk and Donald Trump and all those billionaires in those rooms, they will always get what they want. I'm looking at, okay, so what is the Rupert's gonna get? How is he gonna jump in to invest in Starlink? Because I know they're gonna be creating relationships. The Rupert was suggesting Starlink in SA himself, but he owns what in SA? He owns Vuma, and also through his other companies, he owns parts of Vodacom, right? So what is the connection? Because he can't be inviting his opponent to come play in the space where he's eating. So he knows there's gonna be collaborations in these companies. Where is the collaborations? That's where I wanna put my money. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking in the stock markets to create the connections in these companies. Because SpaceX, I doubt that it will ever be publicly traded actually, because SpaceX is very important for because SpaceX, since with the critical issues of going to space and the information around weapons and what's not, giving the rockets things that they are doing, and they're heavily sponsored by the United States government, I doubt that they will ever go public to trade SpaceX shares publicly. The reason I say that is because you don't want to have, as in America, you would never want to have a SpaceX that will end up being owned by outside entities heavily. Because once you put SpaceX in the market to be publicly traded, then you are running the risk of having SpaceX being owned by Chinese entities and Middle East entities. You don't want that as in America. So I don't see SpaceX actually being publicly traded. I doubt it will never actually be publicly traded for those reasons. Because then you cannot, once you have SpaceX being owned, because you might find yourself in the space whereby majority shareholders of SpaceX are owned outside of America, which would be compromising to America given how critical SpaceX is, like as an entity in the US. But what I'm trying to say, though, the point that I'm trying to make is, what is the connection with the Ruperts? Which companies, Vodacom or Vuma, the thingy, the current Wi-Fi thing that they are using, is it Vuma or Vuma? I forgot the name, but I think it's Vuma. What is it that the Ruperts is going to be connecting with SpaceX? Because whatever they are connecting with SpaceX is going to go up in the stock market. And I'm putting like at least 100K there, lowest, or 200K there. That's where I am. I mean, I'm looking at the game now. I'm like, oh, this is what they're doing, these ones. I'm going this direction. Can't be an activist, bro, for everything, forever. You need to play the game. Understand the game, know the players, and play the game. I'm there, bro. I'm there, bro. These people, bro, because no matter what you can say, they would eat. Billionaires will always get their way. You can complain right now with the legislation, but they will still do it. That's what's going to happen. You will go hit the streets, complain why they're bringing SpaceX, Starlink here and what's not. They will still do it and they will win. These are billionaires. That's how the game goes. I'm looking at how are they benefiting and how can I invest in there so that I can benefit. That's what I'm doing. That's the game, bro. That's the game, man. But when it comes to this thing, I've watched the thingy, the visit by Ramaphosa in the White House, and that's my take on it. We all know there's no genocide. Okay, so what is the game about? Oh, SpaceX. Or rather Starlink through SpaceX, of course. Let's just say Starlink. That's the biggest point here. Trying to squeeze South Africa to open for Starlink. Okay, then how are you playing the game? How are you mingling and becoming part of that? That's all I can say when it comes to this case. I'm still going to come with more other things that are related to this.